This is one of the best, greatest sweatshirts on this list. I never heard of this brand before. This is a brand called American Giant. When I opened this massive tank of a monster from the box, I just was like, oh, what happened, reigning champ? But it's a time for the videos when you're supposed to show off. What's the difference between a $391 sweatshirt I got from Japan and a $17 sweatshirt I got from Amazon? What about everything else in between? Both of these sweatshirts are in the internet's top 10 list of the greatest sweatshirts available right now. What I did was craft a poll to figure out what brands the internet loves the most. I got about 1 billion different suggestions from all of you. Then I tallied up all the most popular brands, converted it to a number, then to a percentage, and bought all of them. You people are not cheap. Then I wore them, washed them, steamed them, ironed them, and Taylor stole some of them. Then I took them back and wrote down my thoughts for this video. So without any further ado, welcome to the coziest Iron Snail video in Iron Snail history. I'm eating grapes. I'm at home, I'm in my sweatpants. The video is going to be ordered from least popular to most popular by number of votes. I wanted to keep it to top 10, but I thought that the bottom 3 sweatshirts were also very important. I bought 15 sweatshirts total. Couldn't stop myself. This is the real McCoys loopwheel sweater. It is 10 ounces and it's loopwheel. Non-loopwheel knitwear is pulled. It's very tense as it's being knit. And if you think of me pulling this sweatshirt for 3 hours or 4 hours, what's going to happen when I let go? It's going to be a little bit stretched out. Loopwheel, basically gravity fed. There's not a lot of tension motors and things pulling the yarn to do a faster form of production. So what you get from that is a sweatshirt that is inherently not stretched out and will also probably not stretch out as much over time because all of that tension that's being done by the machines isn't something you're going to replicate naturally with your movement because you fit inside the fabric. That's why it holds its shape. That's why people like it so much for t-shirts and sweatshirts. Anyway though, Real McCoys is known for very accurate reproductions. This is no different. You will see the Dorito on the front and on the back. This is a real Dorito. Actually, it's not a real Dorito. So it's ribbing all the way through. There's an actual cut in the sweatshirt. So the stretches easier, catches sweat easier. We have a wide neckline, which is a bit more old school, as you'll see later. The real benefit for me with Real McCoys is that everything they do feels finished. There is a group of people that say, this is perfect, send it out the door. The Real McCoys shrink percentage, 5% in width, 4.35 in length. Uniqlo also technically didn't make the list, but I thought it was very important to put it on the list because Abercrombie did make it on the list at a shockingly high number. And it's very important to see the difference in philosophy between a brand like Uniqlo and a brand like Abercrombie. Overall though, this is a big reason I think as to why Uniqlo is so successful because to me, they chose all of the right things to prioritize with a budget $40 sweatshirt. There's no leaning in crazy comfort or crazy durability. It's just a pretty decent sweatshirt, like what Uniqlo always does. 2 things to note though. On t-shirts, I really care about a bound neck collar. On sweatshirts, not so much. It's a heavier fabric, so I'm not as worried about a bacon collar or a distorted collar or anything like that. And I do like the look of both. That being said, oh, what happened, reigning champ? Uniqlo shrink percentage, 3.4% in width, 0% in length. I was just digging through the trash trying to find the tag that came with this sweatshirt. Can't find it. Taylor must have taken the trash out yesterday and not told me about it. Either way though, this is one of the best, greatest sweatshirts on this list. I never heard of this brand before. This is a brand called Camber. It's a made in USA brand. This sweatshirt feels like it was teleported from the 90s. I have a specific memory in my head of hugging my aunt, who I think had an Arizona sweatshirt on, and it felt exactly like this sweatshirt. Feels great. It's very coarse, so if you don't like coarse sweatshirts, you won't like this. The neck hole is also very tight, so if you have a big head, I'm not trying to be silly, you will not make it through this sweatshirt. You will probably get stuck. They're doing the same reverse weave cutting on the cross grain for the body fabric, so it will shrink up. We'll talk about that when we get to Champion, but cannot recommend this sweatshirt enough. Camber shrinkage, 12% in width, 3% in length. One thing I forgot to note, this sweatshirt, this heathered one at least, this is 10% polyester. Typically, I do not like polyester. Still, I wish this was 100% cotton, but polyester does add strength. It will aid in how fast this sweatshirt will dry. It does have a very storied history in sweatshirts and hoodies and that world. Champion was doing nylon fleeces for a very long time, so it's not out of the ordinary, but something to note. Hey guys, new iPhone season's upon us, and you know your boy Mikey had to be the first in line to pick one up. But every good iPhone does need some protection, so I'm very happy to say that this video is sponsored by Arc Pulse. So the Arc Pulse is precision crafted out of space-grade aluminum, so not only is it incredibly light, it also sticks to your phone via friction, no adhesion necessary. So I like the Arc Pulse because it allows my phone to still feel naked while also having more protection than just the titanium side rails of the Pro. because I do drop it sometimes, and I hate when I drop it and ding up the phone. That's the worst feeling in the world, especially when I'm doing something fun, like running. We did this take 4 times. Running, running, running. But guess what? You also do things like, I said I would.
I just don't think it's worth it. Who cares if you said you would?
I just feel like I just said I would. I said I would. Driving. Did it survive? It survived. Wow.
I did not think that was gonna work.
So thank you very much, Arc, for sponsoring this video. I like this phone case a lot, and I met the guys at Arc, and they're just a bunch of nerdy engineers trying to make a cool phone case, and I think they achieved that goal. So if you're interested, check out the link in the description for more information, and I'll see you on the ground. Use code IronSnail10 to get 10% off. You may be wondering why this Abercrombie sweatshirt has the cuffs rolled and a toothpaste stain right there. The reason for that is because my girlfriend Taylor stole this sweatshirt immediately as it arrived. Hold on. What did we just put on the second we got home?
The cheapest. I like that one and the green one.
Oh, don't talk about the green one yet. Abercrombie is prioritizing softness over absolutely everything, and they do that with a variety of washes that kind of beat this sweatshirt down over time. It's not a bad quality sweatshirt. It is a $60 sweatshirt, and I think that is because they're using higher quality cottons so they can beat them down more. The thing that's kind of interesting, and the reason I said Uniqlo should be on this list, is because Uniqlo's approach seems to be more, let's make a basic sweatshirt that will last a very long time, that has some oomph to it. And Abercrombie's is, let's make the softest sweatshirt of all time. Probably wouldn't recommend this sweater just for the 30% polyester count alone, but also washing it incredibly heavily is something I like to do myself over time. This feels like a sweatshirt that you bought that was worn already for like 10 years out the door. Abercrombie shrink percentage, 1% in width, 2% in length. And now, a sweatshirt that could not be more different than the Abercrombie sweatshirt, but is ranked immediately after that. It's the Wonder Looper double heavyweight fox fiber crew neck t-shirt. Wonder Looper was ranked really high. I should have shown you one of their more regular offerings and not a limited edition $391 sweatshirt. They have other things, they're just always sold out. So I will try and snag one of those. I'm friends with Bezad. He gave me this sweatshirt for free. I'll try to get a regular one to show you because I never show regular Wonder Looper products. 4, maybe even 5 times heavier than Abercrombie. 2 champion sweatshirts in thickness. This is an absolute monster. If you've never felt a 24-ounce sweatshirt, you probably don't understand how heavy this actually is. You could see that it holds its shape when I hold it out like this. Now, interestingly, as I've said so many times before, this uses fox fiber, which is the first ever naturally colored cotton that is a long enough staple to be easily spun into yarns and then made into garments like this. That being said, it is small batch, it is expensive, and it's still not a long staple cotton fiber, so it needs to be blended with an extra long or just long staple cotton fiber so it's still strong, otherwise it wouldn't hold up, it wouldn't be tough enough to put on sweatshirts like this. It's pest resistant, I think fire resistant, has a ton of insane qualities, and fox fiber is very interesting because this is Coyote 80. This is the darkest fox fiber can get, but since it is so dark, if you wanted to dye this sweatshirt black, I think it would use something like 30 to 40% less dye to achieve a darker black than you could if you were just using a regular cotton. Wonder Looper shrink percentage, 0% pre-washed. Oh, what happened, reigning champ? Well, it's a time for the videos when you're supposed to show off. I opened this sweatshirt from the box and said, oh no. We got a pretty bacony collar on this reigning champ sweatshirt. I don't think that's a typical thing. I think it was a mis-sew, so I bet if I reached out to support, I can get a new one. The collar is tight enough where it's not super apparent if it was a looser collar and it baconed up. For some reason, it drives me absolutely nuts. If the collar's a little wiggly all day, I just keep rubbing it with my finger, trying to smooth it out. That being said, I'm not going to judge the sweatshirt just based off of that because I don't think that's a typical thing. First thing I will say, I should have sized down on this. I should have gotten an extra small reigning champ instead of a small. Besides all of that being said, this is an awesome sweatshirt. One of the best on the list. If the collar was not as bacony and I sized it right, it would be right up there with Camber and another brand that we have to talk about in a second. It has a really nice dry feel. I think this is 12 to 13 and a half, 14 ounces, nice and heavy. This is their original fleece. I also like that the ribbing on the side, the gusset goes up into a triangle into the arm, so you get some more mobility. I feel like if someone from Reigning Champ is gonna see this, they're gonna be like, okay, great, YouTube guy got the 1 out of 800. That isn't right. Reigning Champ shrink percentage, 2.2% in width, 3% in length. Good old Mikey fell for the eBay dupe. There's just a really good deal on a vintage Champion sweatshirt. It says size small. I'm a size small. I think it's women's. Vintage, Champion, and Russell. Russell is also on this list. These were great. Made in USA, reverse weave, which I guess we can talk about now. Champion got really famous for two things. One, reverse weave, where they cut the main body fabric on the cross grain, so it's to the side like this. And the reason it's like that is because when Champion sweatshirts were a football jersey, the players and the coaches didn't like that they shrank a lot lengthwise, so Champion switched it this way, and now they shrank a lot in the width, and Champion remedied the width shrinkage and the tightness, because there's less stretch horizontally, by adding this ribbing on the side. Those two things make up reverse weave, and that is part of the reason Champion became Champion. The other part is they put a hood on these crew neck sweaters. All of a sudden you had the hoodies. All in all though, vintage 90s Champion, absolutely fantastic, very dense, very nice feeling. Still has polyester in it. That's still a thing, but no complaints there. I did get eBay duped on the Champion sweatshirt, but luckily we also have the Russell. Mikey baby got duped again on the Russells. It fits me okay, but I think this is a child's sweatshirt, or men were very small, or this is women's. I don't know. I'm not gonna yuck your yum. If you like Russell for a specific reason, it is probably because well, first off, they're the original sweatshirt maker. Ben Russell, I believe it was playing football, had an itchy wool jersey on, and then made the sweatshirt. And it seems to me, from what I see, Russell went that way, Champion went that way. Champion kind of prioritized, like, they do make cheaper things that may feel more like this Russell, but their reverse weave is really, really nice. Russell seems like they went, how cheap can we go? Throughout. If you were choosing between vintage Russell or vintage Champion, I'd probably say splurge for Champion. It's just a different beast. This pills a lot. I don't think you'd be super excited if you got it in the mail, no matter how old it, well, maybe older ones are different, but I just don't think you'd be really excited if you got this in the mail. If we do a part 2 of this, I'm actually gonna buy like 4 or 5 vintage Russells just to see if maybe the one I got isn't like the best quality. So I wanna see, because there's a lot of hype around vintage Russell. I'm gonna try and get to the bottom of it. Vintage Russell and Champion shrink percentage. I don't know. These were probably washed 800 years ago. We're back to one of the best sweatshirts on this list. There's one thing I don't like about it, it's aesthetic, but this is a fantastic quality loopwheel sweatshirt from Japan, Whitesville. Kind of a messed up thread at the cuff here and a messed up stitch. See, this is what New York sounds like right now. It's nice because it hasn't been too calm around here lately. Anyways, the real interesting thing about the Whitesville sweatshirt, it's loopwheel like we talked about before, but it uses a 5x1 rib knit on the cuff, on the hem, and on the collar, which, I'm sorry, what is happening? Don't worry guys, I solved it. Fixed it, just a few quick discussion I had to have. 5x1 rib knit on the cuffs, on the hem, and everything like that. You either like it or you don't. It's not my favorite. I wish it was a 2x1 or 1x1 or something like that. It's also very, very loose and very, very soft. If you're looking for a very, very soft, high quality sweatshirt, and not soft as in silky, soft as in like kind of fluffy and cozy, you go Whitesville. You go this next brand. Whitesville shrink percentage, 0, pre-washed. American Giant. When I opened this massive tank of a monster from the box, I just was like, holy crap, this is the craziest switch I've ever felt in my life. First off, reinforced arms. Also, rib knitting on the shoulders for more flexibility. The hood is also just freaking monster. The way it's sewn around here feels very American. Like if you wear this, you probably wear, which is not an American brand, you probably wear Ironheart denim, you wear P&W boots. You just want the epitome of incredibly heavy, overbuilt products. One of the best sweatshirts on this list, especially if you're a bigger guy, especially if you're tall, actually. American Giant shrinkage, 1.8% in length. Russell! Okay, here's Russell part 2. This is the cheapest sweatshirt on the list, so it's hard. I can't compare it to a $150 sweatshirt and be like, it's lightweight, it uses polyester. That wouldn't be that fair, would it? It looks like Russell kind of stayed with the philosophy of like, these are basically football jerseys, they should be cheap, so we'll start to use polyester, or we'll do this to make it cheaper. It feels like the old Russell sweatshirt, to be honest. I bet this will pill over time. I splurged. I got the fancy premium cotton rich blend, which is 35% polyester, 65% cotton. It's a very polyester feeling sweatshirt. You can actually, if you go out into the sun or catch it at the right light, you can see the shine from the polyester actually on this sweatshirt. Someone that buys a Russell probably wants the cheapest sweatshirt possible that will hold up, that they can just wear around the house or throw out and not really care about that much. That's who Russell goes after. Russell shrink percentage, 1.25% in width, 2% in length. Next up, we have a small French brand called
Brut.
I really like them. They make a great sweatshirt. I can't pronounce their name perfectly. Brut. Definitely not Brut, I've been told. Brut's marketing is very interesting because they just name their stuff the best. The best down jacket, the best sweatshirt, the best hoodie. And if you say you're the best, you have to at least be pretty close to the top of being the best. And I would say they are. I'd say they totally back it up. This is a great sweatshirt. I got it on sale, I will say. Very high quality, very modern fit, very highly cropped. A lot of Brut's stuff is very cropped. If you're tall, you're probably gonna wanna size up. This is the sleeve on someone that's 5'9", wearing a size small. Usually sleeves are a little big on me. The ribbing feels excellent to the point where I wonder if it's a synthetic blend. It has a bit of that dry feel I usually feel with synthetic blends, but no complaints. One of the best on this list. Maybe number 2, maybe number 3. Brut shrink percentage, 2.2% in length, 0% in width. Buzz Rickson, not a company I expected to be second on the list. 6.19% of the vote. I can see why the Buzz Rickson made it to second most popular on the list. It checks every single box, probably for the widest amount of people. It's a nice heavyweight, but it's not too heavy. It's soft, but not crazy soft. Really, its main competitor is owned by its parent company, Whitesville. And to me, it would come down to, do you like the 5x1 rib knit cuff? If you do, go Whitesville. If you don't, Buzz Rickson. Really fantastic value for the money, great fit, a little more constricted than the Whitesville. Buzz Rickson shrink percentage, 1% in length. And finally, at the top of this list, with almost double the amounts of votes as Buzz Rickson, 11.14%, is, of course, Champion. Champion is a brand where I feel like they did you good, you know? They're that one guy that was super successful, but then came back to the neighborhood and was the same guy as before, and was like, what's up guys, how's it going? Super successful now, but it doesn't bother me. This 90s Made in USA sweatshirt, could not tell you could I? Okay, I will say, this specific 90s sweatshirt does feel a little rougher, a little bit more robust than this Champion that I'm wearing right now. I will say that. So what? The guy came back to the neighborhood, he changed a little bit. Just kidding. Abercrombie is $60. This reverse weave hoodie is $70. And to me, they're light years different in quality, in feel. Champion still has that durable knitwear thing in their bones. And I think they really make it clear with the reverse weave series specifically. When I was first getting into clothes, that was the top thing on my Christmas list. I asked my parents, I just want a reverse weave Champion sweatshirt. And it was this. This is what I got for my parents. Nothing to really complain about. That's why Champion is so high up on this list, because what they are making is a great value compared to what we are seeing in the general landscape. Would I say it's $40 better than Uniqlo? Reverse weave? Yeah. It seems like Champion knows from a marketing perspective or a brand perspective why they are Champion, and they hold that up with reverse weave, and that is why they're staying at the top and getting so many votes. Great. That's it. It's very hard to rank things because it's my opinion. Yours may differ on weight and feel and stuff like that, but this would be how I would rank things according to overall value to me. But either way, if you want to do part 2, let me know. It will be called Michael's Revenge, and I will wreak havoc on the world of sweatshirts. But other than that, I will see you next week. Very big announcement coming up, not related to this channel, related to my personal life. You'll be shocked. Well, you might not be. Who knows? Okay, bye.